Hello everybody. My name's Draco. And welcome to Draco-Fish Productions. Today's subject. Every Dark Hunter in the Bionicle franchise. But what is a Dark Hunter, you may be asking? Dark Hunters are an organization of amoral bounty hunters that have existed in the Matoran universe for thousands of years. With the founder being the Shadowed One, a ruler who made his empire because Mata Nui gave no acknowledgement to his people. He sends his Dark Hunters on missions to gather treasures or perform assassinations. His powers include super strength, I-beams that can disintegrate anything, and a staff that can imprison even a Toa in its solid protodermis. Airwatcher is a short-tempered idiot who is easily manipulated by the Shadowed One due to his usefulness. His powers include his gliding, energy web cannon, and a staff that fires a stream of acid. Amphibex is a cunning savage who was once an ocean vagabond but is now a Dark Hunter who raids shorelines. His powers include his long claws, whip, great swimming, and heightened hearing and sight. Ancient is the oldest Dark Hunter and the person that gave the Shadowed One the idea to make the Dark Hunters to begin with. A native of the Shadowed One's homeland, he rebelled the strict codes of his people and became a killer for hire bouncing between who could pay the highest. His powers include super strength, impenetrable armor, levitation boots, and rapid-fire Rotuka launcher that upon impact rob a foe of all physical coordination. Charger was originally a Kane Ra that mysteriously turned mutated into his current form. He is a reckless brute who is strong enough to both fight more than 6 opponents in combat and break straight through walls. He wields an axe stolen from a Toa of a bygone era, capable of absorbing an elemental energy and deflecting back at the opponent. The Conjurer was a king south of Voinui who, when given the chance of the Shadowed One to join the Dark Hunters for the treasure, abandoned his people. He performs every mission in very glamorous ways so he can brag about it later. His powers are so advanced to the Matoran that they think it's magic, including telekinesis, a staff of disintegration, and Kanoka discs that briefly steal the powers of its target. The darkness awaits for just a slight slip-up of the Shadowed One to capture his throne and become king of the Dark Hunters. His powers are completely mysterious to even the Shadowed One, with the only hint of what he can do being the fact he can, quote, bend and slither through places too narrow for any being to pass into. The Dweller has one of the most important jobs in the whole Dark Hunter Foundation. He has been permanently located at Metro Nui for 1,000 years, gathering info and sending it back to the Shadowed One on Rahi. His powers are super strength, being able to inflict nightmares to his enemies, and changing others' perception, so he cannot be spotted. The Eliminator was the third Dark Hunter hired by Makuta to capture Metro Nui, whose job was to defeat the Toa Guardians. But in the present day, the Eliminator is sent when a Dark Hunter fails, killing them and taking their place, finishing the job they couldn't. His powers include the ability to combine the elements of up to 4 Kanoka discs and fire this energy from his claws. He can also fire the discs from his back and is incredibly swift and basically invisible in low light areas. Fire Dracax is not a Dark Hunter for hatred, greed, or power, but to kill Visorak. He was once a Matoran who lived in a paradise before it was attacked by the Visorak. In his escape he fell into protodermis, transforming into his current form. His powers include an unbreakable shield and a Rotuka spinner that ignites the air into flame. Gatherer was once a Matoran leader who was captured and converted to the Dark Hunters when a group went to invade his land. He is called the Gatherer because anyone he kills in combat, he takes a piece of their armor, slowly building the armor you see. His powers include being able to not eat or sleep, a psychic bond with underground Rahi to which he can command. He also wields a blade that can cut straight through solid protodermis, a shield that doubles as an energy cannon, and a Rotuka spinner that scrambles the mind of its target. Gladiator is, well, a gladiator who was a crowd favorite until he lost control in a battle and went berserk, with him beating at least 12 of Kreka's species before finally being stopped and broken out of prison, joining the Dark Hunters. His powers are unmatched strength, sharp claws, and super durability. Guardian has a single job: if a Dark Hunter ever gets captured, he kills them to make sure no secrets get out. He came from a war-torn nation, left for dead after getting hit in the crossfire of a Rotuka spinner before being nursed back to health by a Dark Hunter to become a Dark Hunter fueled by nothing but rage. His powers include sharp claws and a Rotuka staff whose spinners are tied to earth and stone. The Hordika dragons, as the name suggests, are not a single person but 8. The Shadowed One long ago took 8 Dark Hunters and mutated them with Visorak poison as a test and ended up turning them into monsters. One day their Visorak side will take over and try to kill the Shadowed One, but until then he uses them to kill Dark Hunters who won't pay their debt. Their powers include enhanced strength, agility, and senses, as well as claws that can electrocute anything it touches. Crota-Cal was once a basic Crota before being mutated in the same energy that turned Borak into Borak-Cal. Makuta made a suit of armor more powerful than a Rakshi armed with sharp claws and teeth to house the Crota-Cal. Crota-Cal usually betrays his mission for his own belief, to which the Shadowed One sent Visorak to show him how easily his armor can be broken. His powers include a double-bladed flame sword, a disc launcher, and control over fire, water, and shadow. Kreka is a mindless brute who used to be a guard on his home island until he interfered with a rep of the Brotherhood of Makota, losing his home, job, and left eye. Eventually, over time, his acts of violence caught the attention of the Dark Hunters, where he duoed with Nidhiki. His powers include strength beyond that of a Toa, an energy net cannon, and being able to transform into a flying form. Nidhiki used to be a Toa of air until he tried to betray Metru Nui under the Shadowed One's name. He made a deal with Rudaka to try to escape Metru Nui, but ended up being mutated into a spider-like form. Too ugly to be welcomed anywhere else, forced to be a Dark Hunter until his death, aided by Kreka. His powers include his intelligence, spitting force bolts at the enemy, and a flight mode as well. Lurker was a bounty hunter before he was a Dark Hunter, hired by the Shadowed One due to him being competition. Toa have learned to take to the skies just in case Lurker drops from above. His powers include stingers, claws, blades, and 2 Kanohi masks on his shoulders used to scare enemies. Mimic originates from an island wrecked by a natural disaster with his friend going missing in it. Determined to find her, Mimic became a Dark Hunter, going from island to island doing anything the Shadowed One says, in hopes one day of finding her, not knowing the Shadowed One has her locked up in a dungeon underneath his fortress. His power is similar to that of Taskmasters from Marvel, being able to replicate any attack the opponent uses. Minion was a Mute-Rahi experiment created by the Brotherhood of Makuta, gaining so much intelligence he could understand what others were saying, escaping his containment to the Dark Hunter's island, where he joined. His powers include impenetrable armor, razor-sharp claws, and being able to sense a Brotherhood member a continent away. Poison is a stupid beast who has strong hatred for Matoran due to them almost leading to the extinction of his species. Before he was rather weak, but Nidhiki was able to teach him how to use his full power, poison. The toxin that he uses stuns the target, and if left untreated for more than half an hour will kill its target. Primal led a survivor group back at his home island due to its Visorak invasion long enough for the Shadowed One to recruit him. He refused almost all cybernetic enhancements offered to him, instead taking trophies of his victims, which go to the point of him refusing missions unless there was a good trophy involved, even killing teammates if he thought they were corrupt. His powers include the single enhancement he was given being a paralysis on the opponent, his strength, speed, battle IQ, and his trusty spear. Prototype was once 2 entities, a Toa of Fire and Toa of Earth, after being shot by an anti-Toa blaster rampaging of into the foe. After being gone for centuries, a group of hunters found him damaged, where he was then repaired and recruited by the Shadowed One. His powers include some control over fire and earth due to most of his body being turned into a machine, and his super strength. Ravager was found on a shoreline with no memories of who or where he was, where he lashed out and destroyed 1/3 of the Dark Hunter's HQ, with the Shadowed One trying to make him remember so that one day he could have an army of his species. His powers include super strength, a sword and shield that seemingly have a mind of their own, and being able to increase his strength to any opponent he faces. Savage was once a Toa who lived in a time before people fully knew what Visor X could do to someone, turning him into a Hortica. When he went back to his team, they attacked him, thinking he was a monster, to which the transformation only grew where it got to point where he could only growl, leaving the Toa badly injured, where he fled, being manipulated by the Shadowed One to think the Toa let this happen. His powers include his hunting, a Rotuka spinner that can stun the enemy, and his Tri-Claws that liquefy solid matter. Seeker was one of the guardians of the Mask of Light, to which he failed, losing it to a Toahaga, where he was fired from his job. Joining the Dark Hunters in hopes one day find the one that took the mask, not knowing the Shadowed One knows its location. His power being his staff, capable of seismic shocks and weakening the opponent physically. Centric is the most loyal servant of the Shadowed One, neither dead or alive, created by him to serve his every command. The Shadowed One owes him his life after saving him from his battle from Makuta, with maybe freeing Centric for his service. His powers include illusion casting, darkness, molecular transmutation, and mind wiping, in addition to having a Rotuka spinner. Briefly dematerializes the opponent. Shadow Stealer is a Dark Hunter who hate other Dark Hunters, being sent by the Shadowed One to kill the useless members. Said to be older than the Shadowed One, with rumor being he used to be hero before that of the Toa and after being replaced. Joined the Dark Hunters, being sent on a mission that should have taken years but instead took days. His powers include absorbing shadows around him to get energy and moving in and out of shadows anywhere to a limit. Spinner used to be a Toa of air, but in a heated battle with a Hortica fell into a pit down below, where Dark Hunters found him, transforming his body with cybernetics, joining to pay the debt of them saving his life. His powers include eyes that cause vertigo on glance, dual Roticas that make the opponent lose their sense of balance. He can also combine the energies of the two Roticas to place the enemy into a coma. Subterranean used to be an Onumatoran on Metro Nui during the Toa Dark Hunter War, where while building an underground tunnel of the archives, the structure collapsed, pouring an unknown substance on him, transforming him into his current form. After his friends saw his new monstrous body, they rejected him, leading to him joining the Dark Hunters out of spite. A side effect of his mutation was extreme sensitivity to sound, resulting to him gaining special armor that dampens it. His powers include being able to dismantle any object he touches and stunning the enemy at a mere glance. Tracker's origin is rather a mystery, with it changing depending on who's asking. All we do know is he hates Visor X. Tracker is so good at, well, tracking to the point where he was able to find Rudaka after her supposed death, with it taking 3 other Dark Hunters to stop him from killing her. His powers are his Hound Scent, Super Strength, and Pet Bull who dissolves solid matter upon impact. Tyrant used to be a cruel ruler of a small island until the Toa Dark Hunter War, when he allied with the Shadowed One, usually trying to take control for himself, so the Shadowed One sent him to confront Toa Leakin with a small group of hunters. What he didn't tell him was all his Dark Hunters were ordered to flee right when the fight started, resulting in Tyrant being demolished, being lost below the ocean waves, vowing to get his revenge on the Shadowed One. His powers are to absorb heat and convert it into blasts, or use it to levitate. Vanisher usually disobeys orders for his own motives, with any team member assigned mysteriously disappearing, with rumors being he is a mole also working for the Brotherhood of Makota. His powers include a staff that can open portals wherever he wants, allowing him to travel in the blink of an eye, and absorbing or releasing energies fired at him in a pocket dimension. And that is every Dark Hunter in Bionicle. Well, except the Paraka, but that's for another video. But with all that said, this is Draco signing off. Bye bye.